Is your dream currently in a jar, or are you living it? Step into a place where forgotten dreams aren't gone. They're waiting. A magical London story where you learn real, natural English without even noticing. Ready to take your dream back? Let's begin. The rain in London has a specific sound. It is a constant rhythmic drumming on the roofs of black taxis and red buses. For Clara, this sound was the soundtrack of her life. At 32, Clara was an accountant in a large firm near Liverpool Street. She spent her days with spreadsheets, her afternoons with meetings, and her evenings in a small, tidy flat in Highgate. One Tuesday, the tube was delayed. Feeling frustrated, Clara decided to walk through the back streets of Marylebone. The fog was thick, smelling of wet stone and old chimneys. In a narrow alleyway, hidden between a tailor's shop and a bakery, she saw a soft amber light. A small wooden sign swung in the wind, the Shop of Forgotten Dreams. Clara pushed the heavy oak door. A brass bell rang. A clear, lonely sound. Inside, the shop was a forest of wooden shelves. On these shelves sat thousands of glass jars. Some were as small as a perfume bottle. Others were as large as a biscuit tin. They all shared one thing: a faint pulsing glow. Behind a counter made of dark mahogany sat Mr. Weaver. He wore a tweed waistcoat and a silk tie, looking like a retired professor. He was polishing a pair of silver spectacles. He didn't look up, but he spoke with a warm, gravelly British voice.
Mind the umbrella, dear. We don't want to get the dreams damp. They are very delicate things.
I'm sorry, I've never seen this place before. What exactly do you do here?
I am a keeper, Clara. I look after the things people throw away when they decide to be sensible. When a person says, "I can't do that anymore, I have bills to pay," their dream doesn't die. It just feels rejected. So, it comes to me.
Clara stayed in the shadows as the door opened again. A man entered. He was perhaps 60 years old, wearing a very expensive coat and carrying a leather briefcase. He looked successful, but his eyes were exhausted. He walked to the counter with a heavy step.
Is it still here, Mr. Weaver? Oh, it's been 30 years. I'm retiring next month, and the silence in my house is driving me mad. Ah, Arthur, the violin concerto. I kept it on the middle shelf, right next to a young woman's poetry. It's been waiting for you.
Mr. Weaver handed Arthur a golden jar. Inside, Clara could see something moving. It looked like the vibration of a string.
I was so talented, but my father said music wasn't a proper career for a man.
He wanted me to be a solicitor. I made a lot of money, but I haven't been happy since 1995.
Money is just paper, Arthur. Music is air.
You can't breathe paper. Take it home. Buy a violin. A good one.
Arthur took the jar with trembling hands. He looked like a man who had just found a lost child. As he left, a young woman in her 20s hurried in. She was wearing a suit that looked too big for her, and she looked stressed, checking her watch every 10 seconds.
Mr. Weaver, I only have 5 minutes before my conference call. Do you have my wilderness jar? The one from my gap year?
You're in a hurry to get back to your desk, Sarah? The mountains don't have conference calls, you know.
I know, but my boss promised me a promotion if I work through the weekend. I feel like I'm suffocating in that office. I need to remember what the air feels like at 5,000 meters.
The snows of the Himalayas. You left this here when you signed your first contract. You thought safety was better than adventure.
I was wrong. Safety is just a slow way of disappearing. I'm going to book a flight to Nepal. I don't care about the promotion anymore.
Sarah grabbed the jar, a brilliant, icy white, and ran back out into the rain, looking like she could fly. Now, it was only Clara and the old man. The shop felt smaller, more intimate.
And you, Clara? When was the last time you looked at the world through a lens?
How do you know? I haven't touched a camera since university. My parents said art was for people who didn't want to grow up.
Growing up shouldn't mean leaving your soul in a box under your bed, Clara.
Mr. Weaver climbed a ladder and pulled out a turquoise jar. It shone with a deep, steady light.
This is the light of St. Ives. You were 18, chasing sunrises with a second-hand Nikon.
I remember. But now I'm 32. It feels too late to start again.
It's only too late when you're under the ground, dear. Take the jar. I don't want your money. Just take a photo of the Thames at sunset this Saturday. When the photo is perfect, the debt is paid.
Clara took the warm, pulsing jar and stepped back into the London night. The rain didn't look grey anymore. She saw neon patterns in the puddles and stories in every window. The next morning, Clara took a holiday. She went to a small camera shop and bought one that felt right in her hands. That Saturday, as the sun sank behind the Houses of Parliament, Clara stood on Waterloo Bridge. She wasn't thinking about taxes. She was waiting for the light. When the sky turned a deep purple and the river became gold, she pressed the button. Click. At that moment, miles away, the turquoise jar on Mr. Weaver's shelf quietly vanished. Clara looked at her screen. She wasn't just an accountant anymore. She was a witness to the beauty of the world, and her dream was finally back in her own hands. Mastering English collocations. What is a collocation? Have you ever wondered why we say heavy rain but not big rain? Or why we take a photo but we don't make a photo? These are called collocations. They are pairs of words that naturally go together in English. If you use the wrong pair, you might be grammatically correct, but you won't sound like a native speaker. Let's look at our story, The Shop of Forgotten Dreams, and find the word magnets hidden inside. The office and career. A proper career. Example: my father said music wasn't a proper career. Why? We use proper to describe something that is socially acceptable or serious. Conference call. Example: I only have 5 minutes before my conference call. Note: in modern business, we always have or join a conference call. Sign a contract. Example: you left this here when you signed your first contract. Tip: we don't write a contract in this context. We sign it to make it official. Emotions and the mind. Drive someone mad. Example: the silence in my house is driving me mad. Why? This is much more natural than saying, making me crazy. Trembling hands. Example: Arthur took the jar with trembling hands. Note: we use trembling specifically for shaking caused by strong emotion or age. Art and nature. Catch the sunrise. Example: I used to wake up at 4 a.m. just to catch the sunrise. Why? We use catch for things that happen quickly or for a limited time, like catching a bus or a flight. Take a holiday. Example: Clara called her office and took a holiday. Note: in British English, we usually take or have a holiday. Don't just learn words, learn partnerships. When you read a story, look for words that are best friends. That is the secret to sounding fluent. Cultural deep dive. Understanding the British soul. The gap year. A gap year is a common tradition in the UK where young people take time off to travel and explore before starting university or work. In the story, Sarah's gap year represents freedom and adventure. In contrast, her current desk job shows how that freedom can slowly turn into routine. London's social and artistic geography. In London, different places often reflect different ways of life. Liverpool Street represents the financial world, fast-paced and focused on work and numbers. Marylebone feels more refined and traditional, a place where you might discover something unusual or hidden. And Street Ives in Cornwall is known as an artistic centre, famous for its unique natural light that has inspired photographers and painters for generations. In the story, these locations are not just places. They represent different paths in life. So, what about you? Is your dream still sitting quietly somewhere? Or are you finally living it? Maybe it's time to pick it up again. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep learning English. See you in the next video.